Well then, Callum Wilson's Newcastle United career is officially over after the club announced this morning that he will be moving on and looking for pastures new next season. However, goalkeeper John Ruddy has been given a one-year extension. Let's dive in. Hi everybody, welcome back to the Toon Review. My name's Paul, and if this is, of course, your latest Newcastle United news, we will start off with the news on Callum Wilson, and he is no longer a Newcastle United player after the club announced this morning that no new deal will be given to Callum for next season. Now, there is a few reports going around that they did try and get him on a pay-as-you-play basis, but obviously Callum wanted a better contract than that, and they could not come to an agreement on such a deal, so he will be looking for pastures new. Coventry interested, Leeds United showing a very big interest as well. So I don't think Callum's going to be short of offers for next season. But I'd just like to say thank you to him. Now, I know I was one of the people and many others that said at the time would be right this summer to let Callum Wilson go. He had a horrendous injury record the last couple of years and really not reliable anymore to do a job. The times he played towards the end of last season, he was very much anonymous. So I do believe that Newcastle United are making the right move in letting him go. However, Callum's been with us through some very, very dark times, of course, under Steve Bruce and Mike Ashley, where it was literally everybody behind the ball except Maxi and Callum, and he had to play in the most awful tactics that I've seen Newcastle United play for many, many years, but still put the ball in the back of the net, still showed true desire when he was on the pitch. He loved the Newcastle fans, the fans loved him, but it just went a bit bad for him with injuries in his last couple of years with us, where you just couldn't get him on the pitch. But that's not to say that he hasn't done a job for us. Of course, he scored the first goal after the takeover. He will leave a legend, being part of the squad that won the Carabao Cup last season. So he leaves with his head held very, very high. His body maybe is starting to shut down a little bit and couldn't keep up with the rigours of, I don't know whether it was Eddie Howe's training or whether he's just these injuries, as he's older now and the body takes longer to recover, of course. But look, we have to say thank you to Callum because he's been an awesome number 9 for us when he's been fit. And he did take the social media to speak to the Newcastle United fans as well. He said, to all you Magpies, it's time to say goodbye after an unbelievable few years in the Toon. Thank you for everything. We stood strong together through the highs and some lows to help the club experience new heights. I am so proud to have worn the iconic number 9 shirt and to have added a little more history to it. Scoring at the Gallagher end is really as special as they say. All good things must come to an end, but there's no doubt Newcastle United will always have a place in mine and my family's hearts. Thank you for the memories, CW9. So there you go. And it's a very, very emotional statement from Callum. And this is what we've been hoping for. I think over the time since the season ended, we were wondering if the club were ever going to say anything about Callum Wilson and whether Callum himself would come out and say anything. But obviously there's been a delay with trying to get this, I don't know, pay-as-you-play contract, whatever that would work out being. It hasn't happened. And you can understand from Callum's point of view, he wants a lot more secure deal than that to move forward. Of course, he's made for life with the money he's already made. But, you know, moving forward, there's the likes of Leeds United, Coventry City, etc. interested in him. So it could be that Callum could stay in the Premier League next season or drop down to the Championship, where I think he'll do a really good job, by the way, providing he stays fit. It's all about the fitness for Callum. And I'm sure the clubs that are interested in him would have taken a look at his injury record and said, yep, you know, he has had horrendous injuries. They'll have spoke maybe to Eddie Howe as well about what he thinks of Callum Wilson. We know he speaks very, very highly in public of Callum, and he's been with Callum a long, long time, of course. So there's no better reference really than Eddie Howe. And probably being asked about his fitness, how he would go next season, after some horrific injuries with us at the last 2 years. So I still think he's got a lot to offer another club, not as high profile as us or that sort of end of the Premier League, if you like. Certainly lower down or into the Championship. I still think he'd be a good target man. So this opens up the door for another striker. And unfortunately for a lot of people, Dominic Calvert-Lewin has been heavily mentioned this morning ever since the announcement of Callum Wilson came. Now, Calvert-Lewin himself was linked with Manchester United over the weekend. That didn't go down well with a lot of Manchester United fans. There was a couple I saw on social media last night actually showing some of Calvert-Lewin's goals and what he could bring to a side. But the team he's been linked with the most since he announced he was leaving Everton has been Newcastle United. Eddie Howe is apparently a very big fan of Calvert-Lewin and feels that he might be able to come in and do a job when Isak doesn't play. Now, look, not many people would be happy with this. I know Stato said that, coming in on a free transfer, it's a risk-free move because we're paying nothing for him. I don't think Calvert-Lewin would expect to get the wages he's been getting at Everton because of what's happened at Everton. He's been out injured a long time. He did play a bit last year, but he can't command the same wages that he used to. He just can't. But the fact that we're not paying a transfer fee for him will give him a decent signing on fee as well. So Callum's gone. Calvert-Lewin could be next in the door. So let me know in the chat how you feel about that in the comments below, and then we'll have a chat about it on the live shows, of course. But at the minute, it certainly looks like Calvert-Lewin is a target. There's no doubt about that. And if you read various reports today, he has spoke to Newcastle United. But again, the club is staying very quiet on that. There is no news on Elanga as I record this. It's probably about 1 o'clock, 1:30 now. As I record this, nothing in the news about those two signings either, so it's still very quiet on that front. Things may change very quickly as the day goes on into tomorrow, of course. The club are back for pre-season today. We've seen a few little pictures of Joe Linton back as well, which is great to see. So, things are moving forward for Newcastle. They've finally decided on Callum Wilson. But one player that has been given an extension is John Ruddy. And look, I'm finding this very difficult to understand. Not that John Ruddy is a good influence in the dressing room or as a coach, but if you're going to take John Ruddy on, then just take him on as one of your coaching staff. Not a player. I don't understand that. He's never, ever going to get a game for Newcastle United. We have a list of goalkeepers as long as the A1 motorway. So I don't see how that would come around. But listen, Eddie spoke very much in the past about how good John Ruddy is in the dressing room, what a great influence he is, helping the goalkeeper situation. He's on the pitch before a game, helping the goalkeepers warm up. Now, I understand that. So why give Gillespie another contract? That's the one I can't understand. Because John Ruddy, obviously very, very experienced and brings something to the dressing room. So I understand maybe why we'd be giving him an extension. Gillespie, on the other hand, I do not understand. It's not for homegrown. It's not for anything like that. I will not and cannot understand keeping Gillespie on again. Now, I'm reading reports this morning that Newcastle will be looking to loan out Vlachodimos because nobody will pay a transfer fee for him at the moment. And Dubravka is still hit or miss as to whether he's going to stay at the club, especially if we bring in James Trafford. Because that would be 6 goalkeepers on the first team books. And, of course, a youngster coming through as well. So, technically, that's 7. So, it really, we need to get some goalkeepers off the books here. So, I cannot... If we were targeting to bring Ruddy back for another year, I do not get the extension for Gillespie. Somebody please tell me why he would get a contract extension, because my mind is boggled right now. I don't know. It's just these things with goalkeepers at Newcastle United at the minute, isn't it? I mean, James Trafford, for me, will sign. I'm under no doubt about that. I don't foresee anything happening with that. I just think that they're still working out a bundle, a fee for James Trafford to see how they make payments, etc. And probably the same for Elanga. But Newcastle United have looked at other players. Mohamed Kudus has been mentioned again this morning, simply if the Elanga deal doesn't happen. However, Kudus has said his preferred destination would be Tottenham Hotspur and playing under Thomas Frank. So again, these players are all over the place at the minute, so we have no idea. It's all jumbled, it's all mumbled up, but eventually somebody will sign for Newcastle United. Probably not the main headlines we were hoping for today, but at least Newcastle United have thanked Callum. Callum's had a chance to come out and thank the fans as well. So it's all still up in the air as I record this, but as I say, things might change. We have a live show again at 7 o'clock. If you're watching this during the day on Monday. We do have a show at 7 o'clock, of course. So we'll tackle this more and hopefully some more breaking news about players coming in the door. But let me know what you think below. Are you disappointed Callum's going? Are you happy he's going? What would you like to say about Callum's time at Newcastle United? John Ruddy's contract. Can you understand why? Where certainly with the Gillespie one, now we've signed Ruddy, why we took Gillespie for another year. Nothing makes sense for that. So let me know. But that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, hit the like button. And of course, if you're new and like what you see, please do subscribe. It is free of charge. The only thing we ask you to do is hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload such as this one or any of our live shows. Thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you again very, very soon. In the meantime, take care.